Hi, I'm Abby from the Social Security Administration. Social Security takes protecting your personal information seriously. We're aware of scammers pretending to be government employees and that scams continue to spread across the United States. National Slam the Scam Day is designated by Social Security's Inspector General to raise awareness of these government imposter scams. Slam the Scam Day is the Thursday of National Consumer Protection Week, which takes place in early March every year. On National Slam the Scam Day, we're teaming up with the Federal Trade Commission and SSA's Office of the Inspector General to help you identify different types of scams, notice red flags, and report suspicious events. Follow along on social media with the Slam the Scam hashtag to stay informed and help us slam the scam.
Hi, I'm Christina, and I work at the Federal Trade Commission to help people spot, avoid, and report scams. Since every week is National Consumer Protection Week at the FTC, let's talk about some top scams. We hear a lot about business impersonation scams, and you've probably spotted them yourself. You might get a call or email, maybe a text or a message on social media. It looks like it's from a company you know, but it's really not. The message might say there's a problem with your Amazon account, or there's a FedEx package waiting to be delivered. You just need to call or click a link. But that link could upload malicious software onto your computer, or the fake company rep might say you have to pay them with gift cards, cryptocurrency, or by wiring money to supposedly fix whatever the problem is, which of course, no honest business will do. Right now, it can seem easy to tell that these messages are fakes, but in the moment, when you feel pressured to act to fix a problem, it can seem real. If you get a call or message like this, even if it looks legit, stop. Don't click any links. Don't call any phone numbers. Instead, talk to someone you trust, and then report the message to the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov, even if you didn't lose money or share any personal information. Every report makes a difference. Hi, I'm Christina, and I work at the Federal Trade Commission to help people spot, avoid, and report scams. Since every week is National Consumer Protection Week at the FTC, let's talk about 4 ways to spot a scam. They'll say they're from a government agency or a business you know. Their email might have a real logo, or your caller ID might show a real organization's name. But scammers can copy logos and spoof caller ID information. In other words, they're fakes. The message might say you owe money to the government, or you won money in a lottery or sweepstakes that you don't even remember entering. They want you to pay or give them personal information, but the messages are fakes. They'll threaten to arrest you, sue you, take away your license, or deport you. Again, it's a fake. Scammers say you can fix whatever the issue is by paying them with cryptocurrency, by wiring money, or with a gift card, but only scammers tell you to pay those ways. If you've spotted scams like these, tell the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov. It can help protect you and those you care about.
Hi, I'm Rebecca from Social Security's Office of the Inspector General, and I'm sharing tips on how to spot a scammer. Scammers will pretend to be from Social Security or Social Security's Office of the Inspector General. These criminals often use fake letterheads, logos, officials' names, credentials, as well as fake websites, and fraudulent links, which are all designed to make you believe that there's a problem with your Social Security number or account. Do not rely on names or caller ID to verify that a caller is a government employee. Scam calls often spoof official government phone numbers or even numbers from local police departments. Scammers are trying to gain your trust by sending fake documentation, false evidence, or the name of a real government official. Don't trust it, it's a scam. Report all SSA scams to oig.ssa.gov/report. Hi, I'm Rebecca from Social Security's Office of the Inspector General with more tips on spotting a scam. Phony letters, calls, texts, emails, or social media messages will say there's a problem of some kind with your Social Security number. It might say that your Social Security number will be suspended or that you're being investigated and possibly even arrested for illegal or fraudulent activities. We see a lot of letters related to activating a cost of living increase when these increases occur automatically. If you receive a suspicious call, text, email, or any other kind of message, do not respond. Report SSA scams to oig.ssa.gov/report. Hi, I'm Rebecca from Social Security's Office of the Inspector General, and I'm sharing tips on how to spot a scam. A hallmark of a scam is that you will feel pressured to act immediately. Don't. Stay calm and slam the scam. You may be threatened with fines, arrest, freezing your bank accounts, or suspension of your Social Security number. These scammers may also tell you to keep it a secret. Their goal is to make you feel isolated and scared to increase the odds that you will do what they say. Report SSA scams to oig.ssa.gov/report. Hi, I'm Rebecca from Social Security's Office of the Inspector General, and I'm sharing red flags to help you spot a scam. Scammers may demand or request immediate payment in a specific way. They might ask for payment by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency such as PayPal or Venmo, cryptocurrency, or by mailing cash. Criminals might also tell you to move your money to a protected account. Criminals push you to pay in a specific way because it's much harder to track and ultimately harder to recover. SSA only accepts payments electronically through pay.gov, online bill pay, or physically by check or money order through their offices. Report SSA scams to oig.ssa.gov/report.
Hi, I'm Abby from the Social Security Administration. If you receive a suspicious call, email, or text from someone claiming to be from a government agency, be very cautious. Remember the 4 Ps. Scammers pretend to be from an agency or organization you know to gain your trust. Scammers say that there is a problem or a prize. Scammers pressure you to act immediately. Scammers tell you to pay in a specific way. If you ever owe money to Social Security, we will mail you a letter with payment options and appeal rights. Social Security does not suspend Social Security numbers or demand secrecy from you to resolve a problem ever. If you suspect you are being targeted in a government imposter scam, do not give out any personal information or payments and report the scam immediately. For more information about scams, visit ssa.gov/scam. Thanks for helping us slam the scam.